planed smooth by basically sand grinding across their surface in the winds on Mars.
Okay, here comes the starboard wing inboard. Picking up little rocks there.
So the rock sample box has been slid out toward the center of the ROV, and the manipulator arm is poised dramatically over it, ready to release the fingers of the manipulator arm and deposit that rock for posterity into the bucket. That rock is going to go to a repository at Oregon State University in Corvallis, and it will be available for any scientist that wants to work on it by request.
Okay. Collection is complete.
Great. Thank you very much, pilot.
They still got a shoulder
Collect.
up yet. Yep.
And if I could just have the minis just take a look at that stove, see if I stirred that okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, looks
you.
good.
Yep, so rock box back.
Roger
outboard.
that. Put the starboard wing coming back inboard. Or outboard, rather, yeah.
So we're going to be getting ready to go as soon as the pilots have stowed, and
Okay.
I think they're going to close the gripper arms on the manipulator, and then we'll be headed on toward waypoint 2
That's all
toward
the
the
way.
end of the dive. We're right now at 333 meters
Disabled.
of water depth.
Right there you have it.
We're sitting on a ridge that strikes out
There we go.
northeast from the island of Pagan in the northern Mariana region. This is one of the most active volcanoes in the Mariana Island arc.
Oh,
Now, pilot, what's the direction to move for us?
220 is towards waypoint 2.
220.
okay.
What's local high looking to your sonars, like closer to 230?
So it looks like we're a good distance from him, huh? That's kind of jumping around.
I don't know, 200.
Okay.
Yeah, 220, get us in the right direction. Oh, I'm off to the right, so I'm going to have to come to the left. So let me just... Co-pilot, you ready for me to pick up? I'm going to pick up and side.
It's very interesting sitting here on the ship.
Yeah, we're ready to go, pilot.
Quite a good distance from land, even from Pagan Island, which I know doesn't have dogs on it. But despite that fact, I am hearing a dog barking in the background. So I would appreciate it, as would Shirley, because she's here sitting here giggling in stitches. If whoever has their mic not on mute, wherever you are, if you please would put it on mute, that would be most helpful. I don't hear that dog anymore. Thank you. That thing I thought was a creature was just a rock. Okay, we are on the move again. We are headed at, the ROV is headed at an angle of about 196 degrees, so that's southwest.
Field of view of Sirius, and then you may call it.
And we are progressing up this this ridge that strikes out from the main island to the northwest. So we are driving up slope. And the slope on the ridge right now looks fairly gentle. We've just come off the lower part of this ridge
20
where
meters, bearing 220 degrees, 0.2 knots.
Knob after knob after knob of pretty steep clusters of pillow lavas. We're now in an area that
so I'm gonna be on
has
comms with you guys
mostly
and I'll
volcaniclastic
down out,
blocks that
so
have
he can
been
hear
spewed
everything
out of the
we're saying.
active volcano and landed on
I'll
the
direct him.
seafloor.
All right.
Gotcha.
You can actually see a patch of smoother seafloor
All right, so that
is
last move is
probably
220 now.
much,
Yes,
much
220.
finer
So you're gonna wanna adjust your
volcaniclastics.
heading.
In other words, ash that was deposited in this area during some previous eruption. It could have been 1991, which was the big eruption on Pagan Island, but it also could be older than that.
Thank you, Bridge.
So as we head up slope, the objectives for this dive are to look at precious corals, which we did see at the beginning of the dive, and bottom fish. We're looking at bottom fishery habitats that are of economic and commercial importance for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands and Guam.
And when we found when that long-tailed snapper swam by us, I know there's a fair amount of excitement about that because that's one of the more desirable commercial fishes.
Great.
I think that Chris mentioned that if you go out somewhere and have a dinner of onaga in a restaurant in Honolulu, you might expect to pay $40 for that fish.
I have had them. I haven't paid that much for them, and well, it was a small portion, I must admit, but ooh, are they ever good?
Are they good?
They are. They are.
This
Could be a dead coral stalk, but it's hard to say from here.
If I get too close, it won't be in the lights. But if you could just...
So at Alan Wong's restaurant, the dish is called ginger crusted onaga with miso sesame vinaigrette.
Okay, that was Chris chiming in from University of Hawaii, the Hawaii Expedition Control Center, and Chris and I are colleagues. We work in buildings that are right next to one another. He's in oceanography. I'm in the Hawaii Institute of Geology and Geophysics there at the university. And we go out to dinner. I don't go out to dinner at Alan Wong's as much as he does because that's really expensive restaurant. But it's really a good one.
Pretty short move. So
Maybe your husband will take you there as a late birthday present when you get back.
Tax 20.
What an idea.
Video refill white on
All
Sirius.
right,
Bridge over
Sure.
now.
that's a date.
I have some very
Can we add another 20 meters to that move?
invite my wife and I out. We have a date to go there for a long time.
Good copy. Thank you, Bridge.
Big chunks of volcaniclastic material here. You can see at the very top there's one that looks like it's got kind of a horse's head, and
Thank you, Bridge.
it's got kind of a right angle bend at the end of it. That's often when large blobs of lava are thrown out of a volcano as they tumble through the air. They're still sort of plastically hot, and so they can attain weird and wonderful contorted shapes. So you can see things that look like
Crocodile heads.
yeah, you can
Octopuses.
yeah, octopi, right. You didn't use the Latin plural, my
I
dear.
know. I don't like to use octopi. It sounds weird.
But sometimes they spin in the air and they look like the spindle on a spinning machine, spinning wheel. Wow, there's a flat layer of what is probably ash. On the lower right-hand corner of our field of view. And it doesn't have many rocks on top of it.
So is the ship underway now?
So I am
Yeah, ship's
guessing
underway.
At 220 still?
Yep.
some of that
About
might
10 meters
be
left, maybe more.
Yeah,
more
Jeff, you want to
recent
push out ahead
in the
here?
areas where the rocks are
Copy that.
exposed.
Thank you.
Hard
Yeah,
to tell, though,
about 10
unless
meters
we
left in
can
that
get
move.
down there and do a drill through it. Ooh, we are trucking along.
Good.
Oh, hold up.
That's good. Yeah, you can see a lot more of that exposed
Yeah,
ash.
we're going to want to bring the ship to a stop.
What is- This is like,
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
stop
I'm
it.
going, whoa,
this is
whoa.
weird.
Easy stop.
This looks like
This
is- Yeah,
maybe
driving
a
out.
region of ash deposit that
You
has
can
been
bring the
winnowed
ship to a nice, easy stop
and
right here. That'd be good.
undergone seafloor erosion, and
This is
there's
kind
some
of-
sort of
yeah.
animal
Thank you, Rick.
right there in the middle. What is
Yep,
that
this
thing?
is fine. You're fine. Yeah. And tilt your
see it.
camera.
Is that one of those things we saw way early on?
I don't know what you're looking at.
Gray in the bottom, just going out of field of view.
On the left or the right?
Bottom.
I
Bottom.
don't know.
Okay, it's gone.
I think it was just rock. I think it was just rock.
Could have been. Could have
You're
been.
good.
There's a
It's a
fish.
There's a bottom fish there, upper right.
The ship's door is open for the next 10 minutes. Again, the ship's door is now open.
Was there something here? Watch it.
Someone said bottom fish.
I-
Upper right. I don't know.
This is definitely ash that we're looking at, an ash deposit on the flank of the volcano.
And this was more like what you expected to find. Is that right?
This is what I expected
Yeah.
to find. I was really surprised to see all the pillows down at the very beginning of the dive.
And is this ash built up over multiple volcanic events, or what we're seeing here from the most recent one?
I think this certainly is multiple events. You can see layering in the ash beds.
So those slabs that we're seeing that are running diagonally across the, like from the lower left to the upper right, they're slabs of that volcanic ash, or is that something
That's
different?
right. Yeah, the coherent stuff you mean.
Yep.
And then the big blocks probably are the same material
Hey, Nav, can
that
we,
has just
zoom in on
dislodged
the ship
from
and
the
the ROVs
layers
in
and
high
is
Yeah.
broken up,
Absolutely.
kind of like a jigsaw
I was noticing
puzzle
waypoint 2 is
and resting on
off
the
the back
seafloor
side of the ridge,
next
is
to
gonna
the ash layers.
Watch
There's a
leads.
beautiful
Watch lead
yellow
pilot.
fish.
They just wanted to go to the top.
Yeah, let's take a look at that fish, please. Oh,
no,
wait, there's something in there.
He
It's
scared
like,
his
hey,
neighbor.
get off of my cloud.
Somebody
He's
else
a
just
very
made an
shy
entrance.
fish.
Yeah, something else was blocking the entrance.
Stage left.
So
And there's yet another
Wow,
one.
another one.
as
Looks
a
like a Moorish idol.
Chris.
as a Gendai, and it also I think that's the Japanese name as well, similar to Onaga. Maybe Taco can tell us what it is.
The fish that scooted into the crevice, do you mean, Chris?
Where'd he go? Okay.
Okay, I switched over to the teleconference, and I don't hear anything.
Okay, can you
Too distracted.
can you hear us, Chris?
While listening to 7-second delay there. But that other, the yellow and white striped fish is called a Gendai. It is a bottom fish, Christopomoides donatus. And then that other red and white smaller fish that came in a little later is called a boarfish in the genus Antigonia. And then now on screen, I'm seeing another scorpion fish.
And Chris, I can hear you a lot better on that line than I did before.
Did we identify this fish? Did Chris identify this?
Yeah, I think he.
Yeah, I
This
can hear you now, Shirley. So I don't know. The telecom just keeps going in and out, so it's hard to listen
Tara, it's just
regularly.
partials
But
and minus.
Right, there you go. That's that score painted.
Watch leads. This is Navigator.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Just a
Nav.
question on waypoint 2. I noticed that it's plotted kind of off the back side of this.
Okay, Tara.
As the
So
goal of the
for
dive is just to get to the
So I
top of this
think this
feature.
is
Yeah,
the
the
same
goal
as
is
that
just to
other
get
sort
up
of
as
strange
far as we
one
can.
that the
Okay,
just a few
we'll make it to
minutes
the top.
ago. It
Okay,
looks like it's the
co-pilot.
same one.
Thank you, Nan.
This is
I'm
a
gonna
really
start
different
moving up
one
now.
from ones I've ever seen.
Huh. So, is the one on the bottom of the screen something you'd like to also take a quick
Whoop.
zoom on?
No, that looks like it. The one on the bottom of the screen looks like another pontinus, sort of more of a
Right.
Okay.
Right.
fish. I think
So-
we've got some good video of that.
Okay, we have video of that. Thank you.
Okay.
There's some more of that yellow coral.
So is that Dendrophilia?
Now, one of those is sitting up on a stalk, the one on the right, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the same as the encrusting yellow?
No,
coral.
no.
Yeah, okay.
Tara partial.
Wow, that's
Looks like there's
beautiful.
another tiny little guy next to you.
And what is
Dendrophilia, so it's a coral.
what is
And actually, those
what is
both
the
of those are
thing-
the same.
What is the thing to the
To the
left of
left,
it?
it looks like it's all like tendrils sticking out. I have no idea.
It's the right
Yeah, it
hand
looks like it might be
laser
a-
was on it
Yeah,
for a
it's
sec.
right there.
There you
A
go.
hydro.
Ready?
Zoom
Okay,
in a
does
little
it?
more.
Please. What is that?
Is that a hydroid?
It has a squat lobster on it. And it is on the base of it. I don't know, Shirley, is this hydroid
It's a
sitting-
hydroid. It's a hydroid.
Is it sitting on the base of the
something
base
else?
of a dead coral or sponge?
You mean that kind of whitish
Yeah,
thing?
the
I
whitish
don't
stuff.
know. I don't know. But
Okay.
there are quite a few hydroids here.
Yep.
Very nice.
Okay, full wide Tara.
Alright,
Thank you,
do we have
pilot.
2 more seconds
Sure.
just to get this nice shot right here.
There's nothing I can do about the shimmering in the water.
Oh, that's fine. I barely
Oh, yeah.
So
very
the
good.
I know
white,
that.
hydrozoan coral that's below
It's like-
the yellow one,
Thank you,
that's
pilot.
in the genus Discopera,
Okay.
and it could be Discopera anceps.
Okay, co-pilot on.
And this was the one I mentioned before that until
So
late one,
we're
it
pointed
only
at
been reported
220.
in Hawaiian Islands, and so it's a stylasterid, so it's in the hydrozoa group, if you will.
You guys ready to
And the ones in Hawaii often
call it in.
just have 2
220.
lobes, and so
Sounds
Steve Cairns was Smithsonian referred to them as wingnuts.
Thanks, Chris.
bridge RV nav? Ready for another ship move? Actually, same as last time. 20 meters, bearing 220 degrees, 0.2 knots. Good copy, bridge.
I think we're looking at several different ash deposits here. The upper one with the blocks that are all broken up,
So follow.
and they are sitting on a more coherent ash layer that is a bit grayer. The upper ones are slightly brown, pinkish brown.
Okay. Back with you, Jeff.
Hi, Dan.
Well, if anybody's just tuned in, we are diving on Pagan Island's northeast flank on a ridge that is
Do you
sticking
wanna settle
out
port,
toward the
Jeff?
northeast.
Okay.
We're at a depth of about 312
Looks like we're
meters.
just on a general
and,
slope here. Not much of a ridge. at
This
point.
dive has
when
been
I,
proposed to
don't
look
pay
at precious corals
close
in
attention, I just keep
the
getting
first
Yep,
part of the
yep.
dive,
Off to
which
the right
started out at
Understandable.
about
Push back to
500
the
meters. And also, its objective is to look at bottom fish for the CNMI group of fisheries experts. I'm Patty Fryer from University of Hawaii, a marine geologist.
Hopscotch.
And I'm Shirley Pomponi, and I'm a research faculty member and sponge biologist, but
Okay.
biologist
Richard,
from
Michael,
Harbor
closer
Branch
to your
Oceanographic
mouth.
Institute,
Thank you.
Florida Atlantic University.
You can just ask them to extend the move, or just keep moving.
What we're doing right now is we're waiting as
Okay, we'll do.
the ship
Thanks.
on the surface moves. It is tethered to a small vehicle that flies right above the ROV, the remotely operated vehicle that's bringing you this beautiful high-definition video. And we have to keep sort of a oceanographic ballet in motion.
Like a hopscotch.
Yeah, as the ship moves forward, it pulls the tether that takes signals from the pilot to control the remotely operated vehicle down through the wire. So we have to pull the Sirius vehicle along, and then there is a cable that's about 30 meters long from Sirius down to the remotely operated vehicle, the D2, that is giving you the video image, and that's about as much slack as we can get. So we have to keep these vehicles kind of on top of one another so that the pilots can move the vehicle forward across the seafloor.
And they're making it look like it's easy, but I know it's really, really tough. So that just attests to the skill that this entire ROV team has. Just doing an amazing job. So
Yeah,
well,
particularly like today, there have been some incredible currents that started out in one direction really, really fast, and then all of a sudden the currents dropped to zero. And I actually don't know what they are right now, but we're seeing stalked crinoids and things, animals that filter feed through the water, and they're laying over on their sides. So it's pretty clear that there still are some strong currents going on.
But interestingly, we're not seeing those massive sponges.
Right, not anymore.
No.
Not like the
No,
beginning
and
of the
because
dive.
this is kind of loose.
Yeah.
It's not, not those big boulders onto which these larger organisms
They can
remain
attach
attached
themselves,
as they
yeah.
as they grow, grow larger. And it's quite possible that maybe at one point they were up here. Let's see, what's the depth? Yeah, they could be up here, and then maybe were killed off and rolled down slope. But I just think that combination of depth and temperature and the type of substrate makes that pattern of distribution of those larger sponges down deeper than where we are right now.
Right. Pity the poor sponge that tried to attach to rubble. If there's any jiggling with earthquakes and the rocks go sliding down the hill, that's the end of the sponge.
Lower screen. Oh, it just went out.
I didn't
It's
hear
okay.
you.
No worries.
This is the Okeanos video engineer, Roland Bryan. Just to let everybody know, I'm going to switch the phone lines over to a backup phone line. There's no need to drop the line. We'll just automatically connect.
Thank you very much. Whoa, big rock.
Boulder. A boulder.
A boulder.
A small boulder.
That is a bomb.
A bomb.
A bomb.
If that had landed on your picnic table,
That would have,
you would have been a goner.
you bet.
And if it was hot, you'd have really been a goner.
I didn't do a whole lot of sleeping, I must admit. I was watching the sky. I will admit that. I was not.
What was your escape plan?
Hide under the table.
Oh, yeah, that would help a lot.
The Okeanos is currently on the backup phone line.
Okay, thank you.
We're wondering if folks in ECCs can hear us a little better now. We are on a backup
How
phone
we doing
line.
on that move, Nav? About how far through it are we?
We're 19 meters
Okay,
removed.
let's keep it moving. So we'll do another. I think we can do 30 meters on this terrain. 220. Let me go ahead and call that in now.
Copy that.
Well, this was a pretty quick change.
Bridge
We got
from
out of that
copy
slabby
over?
stuff with the big boulders and exposed
Bridge, can we continue with the same move,
partially
please?
liquefied layers
time we
of
have
volcanic
30
ash.
meters
Now we're seeing
at a bearing of
more
220
scoria, more
and a
of
speed
the
of
volcanic
0.2
clastic
knots.
output from explosive eruptions that produce things like fire
copy,
fountains.
Rich.
So
Thank you.
just like spewing out of gas-charged incandescent magma. This is real common along fissures or cracks in the summits of volcanic terrain. So, for instance, in Hawaii, before you get an actual cone built up during an eruptive phase, generally a fissure erupts on the surface of the volcano, and you get a line of fountaining magma just erupting in these glowing curtains for miles sometimes, and it generally produces
What's our range to
material
waypoint 2,
much
Nav?
like what you're looking at in the screen view. The same sort of thing happens in Iceland. Stromboli also erupts very frequently and produces a lot of this kind of thing.
Range to waypoint 2 is 312 meters.
Copy that. And about how far is it to the peak of that high, just to the southwest of us?
There's another one of those little purple
Cirrus is
blobs right on the bottom of that boulder.
I see that.
I've been seeing them off and on.
One thing you really don't want to do on a surface like this, if it's a steep slope, is try to walk up it.
About
Would be
140
walking on
meters.
ball bearings.
Copy that.
One step
140
up.
meters.
2 steps down.
So,
So I have a question for Chris on shore. Chris Kelly, who's the proposer
Tom.
of this dive, and I'm wondering, we haven't seen very many bottom fish on this, and I'm just wondering if there's a particular reason.
That is a sponge.
is that 2 sponges?
Yes, in fact, there are 2 sponges there.
So
Hang on, Chris. Let's find out from Shirley if there's any
Two-
reason for different
two-
colors.
Well, they're 2 different species. 2
Really?
demo sponges. Yep, 2 demo sponges, different species.
Are they fighting for space?
They could be fighting for space,
I'll bet
although
they are.
if I
Corals
were,
do that, right?
yes,
Don't
they do.
kind of.
Yeah, sponges do too, but I'd be going in the other direction. If I had a brain, if I were a sponge with a brain. Yeah, but these are two different species of sponge, and I'm not even going to venture a guess what they are. Well, I could venture a guess, but I'm not going to.
Coward.
All right, dendroceratids.
Oh, I got her to say it out
I'm going to
loud.
make a little note of that.
All right, if you want to push out ahead, Jeff.
Pushing ahead.
It looked to me like the blue guy was winning.
Well, the blue guy's kind of cool because it looks like it's similar to a
Just keep
sponge
an
that
eye
I
on it when we
work
get
on
towards the end of it.
back in
We'll,
Florida, and
make
it
sure our
grows on
direction
mangrove
is
roots.
Still going to work,
Really?
and we'll call in another one.
Copy that.
Shirley's been telling me that a lot of these sponges are really useful for trying to find out what chemistry, what molecules, what the nature of the sponge can help create pharmaceuticals
Right, so
for us to
they're- yep.
fight diseases.
So, because these sponges compete with each other, different species, or with other things that are trying to occupy that substrate, and they're attached for most of their life, they've evolved a chemical arsenal, if you will, to defend themselves, to
Fish.
identify gametes, eggs and sperm from the same species.
Okay.
And those same chemicals are
Starting to look
being
down at you, Jeff.
exploited for the development of drugs to
Okay,
treat
that's good enough
diseases
for
like
ID.
cancer,
Roger.
infectious
Well, why-
diseases, and so on. Very good.
Well, that was a
Saddle the
fish.
port
And I
and
really
push
want to
forward.
hear from Chris as to how come we're not seeing very many bottom fish up here.
Well, the geologists are really fascinated by all of this new talent. Biologists just utter a big sigh because this is the type of substrate that you often don't find a whole lot of things living in. It's very difficult for animals to survive in this kind of struggle. And bottom fish are predators. They eat other fish. They eat crabs, spot lobsters, for example, and cephalopods, squids, and things like
Yes,
that.
please.
And as you can see from the sky, we're just not seeing a whole lot of prey animals for them. So I'm actually surprised we saw one Hyundai, that striped one, and one Onaga, even because the terrain is just not favorable at all. They prefer much more consolidated terrain, often carbonate, lots of holes in it, where there's lots of animals living in the holes that they can eat.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, that makes sense. Had not thought about that.
Dan, could you bring up motor saver current on your screen to see how we're doing?
So all we have up here are just a few of these real tiny
Average
corals
current is 36 amps,
and clinging sponges.
Where did we have issue last time?
and I think it was like 55? Hey, Levi.
Wow, now we're really getting into ash territory.
So again, different
Yeah,
bottom type.
different bottom type. And yet more different. Look at this. Boulder City.
So, Patty, how does this ash settle out here? I mean, was there some enormous big cloud of ash in the water at some point, and then it just gradually settled all over the bottom, or why do you have all of this here?
2 fish. 3
Oh,
fish.
Chris, you got it. Absolutely. The island Pagan has a nickname,
4 fish.
the Lighthouse of the Pacific, and it erupts a lot. And in 81 through 85, 1981 through 1985, there were just a series of very, very voluminous eruptions from this volcano.
Lots of fish.
And
Watch
in,
lead pilot.
we
still watching.
we might have
Yeah,
to
if you
get
could
interrupted
closer
by
to
those
fish,
fish.
please.
But yeah, it sent a huge cloud of ash up into the air. Great volumes of stuff.
I'm going to try and get this.
And that
yellow
was from a
purple
cone
right
that
here.
Roger.
had grown up in the center of an even larger
Why don't you get the
cone
zoom
that
card
had
on it,
blown
and
its
maybe I'll
top.
just fly this.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this fish. What a beauty. Yellow and purple and orange.
These look so much like reef fish.
They do look like reef fish.
All right, where's my little handy dandy guide here?
Oh, there's another one in the upper right corner.
And as we're searching for fish, on the right-hand side, you folks can see that the rocks
Lots of
look
them.
layered.
Okay, let's go.
And that's
full wide again.
because they are. They represent multiple pulses of explosions of
And there's
ash
this
from the
red guy
volcano.
here.
Yeah, Jeff, when we tripped the motor saver last time, we were also operating the craft, I believe.
Okay.
Where we had the HPU on.
HPUs
Yeah,
pulled up too?
yeah.
Okay.
So he was really having to dig in with thrust to keep his toe in,
Okay.
putting a lot of pressure on the motors, and then also had the HPU running. So I think that was the problem.
All right. Well, we're only in 260 meters of water. We could be seeing reef fish.
Yeah, we could.
All right, starting to look down at you, Jeff, and you're moving backwards.
Okay.
Are we going to be moving off from this area,
Yes.
pilot? I will just got a request from Mary Jo on shore just to take a quick zoom on some of the layered rocks, just to look at the layering,
real
see
quick.
if
Okay.
it's see if it has any stratification in the layering, you know, from fine to coarse at the bottom, that sort of thing.
Okay. Try and get up here to this.
Sure.
Big slab. Wow.
Well, anyone, the big slab would be great, but if there's one that you can look at easily,
Yeah,
that's perfect.
I think we should get moving, Jeff.
Okay. Just give me a partial zoom there,
Gotcha.
Tara, and I'm moving at the same time.
Okay, let's hold off for a second. But we'll have a
Full way.
Okay.
let's see.
Thank you.
Let's do when you're ready. 210 at. We'll do 30 meters at point 2, but let's wait until he pushes out ahead.
Sometimes
You'll
in
need to
ash
settle
deposits
port.
on the volcano's slopes like this, you can see bedding that is not perfectly horizontal. You can see bedding that can be kind of contorted.
Up on my verts.
And what that can mean is that there was a
stalled.
Are
particularly
you?
violent
Okay.
blast
Stalled out here. Hang on.
that
Okay.
caused essentially what looks like
Yeah,
cross
we're going to belay
bedding.
that move. for a
So
bit.
one bed cuts across another as the next blast sort of erodes what's already there. So it can be very, very complicated. And taking a close look at ash
Keep an
in
eye on the
these
power draw.
layers on the seafloor gives us a better idea
43
of
amps, 45
how
amps.
violently the ash is deposited. It doesn't always get deposited just by airfall. Sometimes blasts that are forceful in a lateral sense can deposit ash in the same way underwater, especially in shallow waters, as they can on land.
Video switching out.
Copy. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Okay. Things are better now.
Okay. Maybe this is a good opportunity to just come up with a game plan if we did lose power, or
Well, if we lose power,
yeah. Well,
pull up
Don't.
on the winch.
Don't.
But if I were to lose contact right now, I would try to make a starboard turn and blow with the wind.
then I would make a port turn.
Well,
You're
I would
just
end
streaming
up
well.
streaming. So yeah,
I'd end up pulling. I'd take it out of
auto. right?
autos and let it pull. Okay.
Yeah. So I would make a starboard turn and just blow away.
Okay. Yeah, I think 210.
And let's make it 20 meters. It's,
Yeah, 20 meters.
steeper here. Look at the
Yeah.
sonar returns. They're a lot steeper terrain now.
And if you can saddle the port at all, you know, it's
Yes.
can you
This
The
still
port
looks
show.
like volcaniclastic material, but
100%
it
on my
is
verts, and
large
I am
blocks
trying to-
within and cemented perhaps by ash.
oh boy. Okay.
There's a finer layer of ash at the bottom
Maybe we ought to belay that.
right-hand side of the screen that we're looking at. So there is some stratigraphy here.
Nav, pilot, belay the move.
Let's stop the
easy
move.
Stop. Nav, pilot,
Stop.
easy stop
Stop
on
the
the
move.
ship.
What's the white blob on the right-hand
Right,
side?
they have to. Yeah, we can look at that later. I think they have to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, just so you know what's happening, the currents have become so strong that I'm maxed out on my thrusters, and I can't keep up with Sirius at the moment. If I maintain maximum thrust, then we have the potential to overheat things and bad things happen, so I won't do that. So I'm just making my way up this slope however I can.
Oh, that's fine. Thank
I'm
you
gonna
for
come
the
closer to you.
explanation.
You're welcome.
I'm going to come closer to you at 220.
Okay.
Let's just do 20 meters. You're pretty well stretched out now.
currents
so I'll
again.
give you some time.
Okay.
So Nav, this is co-pilot. Nav, co-pilot. Yeah, let's do move 20 meters bearing 220.
We're at
0.2.
261 meters on the flank of Poggin Island, and the currents are ripping around this island at a pretty good clip.
Yes, you can see, like in the distance, in the upper left-hand side, you can see something branching. That's
Yeah,
moving
it's really
with
waving
the current.
around a lot.
Yeah.
Looks like a tuning fork.
Nav. Bearing 220. Or 220.
Thanks, gentlemen.
So how are we in this current for imaging, pilot?
If you see something directly in front of you, you may image it, but
I see a
I'm
very
not
small
going to go anywhere at the moment.
I see a very small spot lobster just upper right of lasers and just above the yellow polyp.
There we go. Nope. Nope.
Looks like he's coming to your screen.
Yeah. Sorry, Rolly.
That's okay. He was coming to you.
It's not a very friendly situation. That's all right. There you go. Zoom partial on.
Cute.
Set it.
Squat lobster. Isn't he cute? He's balancing.
He's hiding in a crevice also.
Looks like
Looks
he's
very-
balancing himself with
very
his
anchored.
clawed arms and
I think he's going to
waving
attack.
at us.
No, I
He's
think he's going to attack.
he's waving at us.
I think he's just anchoring himself in against the current.
Say hafadai to those folks in Guam.
Have a die.
There's a good boy.
Okay, video's clear to this.
Co-pilot, you starting to catch up to me?
Well, not catching up, but I am on my way toward you.
Okay, cool. I'll just wait a little longer. And then we'll try and get up this ridge.
Tilt the camera down just a little bit more immediately under the laser beam is
Whoop. Oh, I lost my toe.
a yellow color. Full wide.
Thanks.
Yeah, even the tether's getting pulled down slope.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
I mean, it's not caught on anything, but it's dips down before it comes back up.
yeah. Interesting flying. Oh, look, a fish. Zoom fish.
That fish is flying too.
Follow his current.
Oh, I
It
can't.
doesn't
Yeah, I
even
know.
have to wiggle to move.
We'll end up inside down or something. Yeah, okay. Full
Well,
whack.
folks at home, we are experiencing real strong currents here. It's actually, you can see the tether
measured
from the
the current?
ROV kind of waving.
We cannot do a drift test. We just
There's a
float away.
starfish. Right
So
edge of the
it's
screen
a real
above the fish.
challenge.
We're trying to get into
For-
a happy place with the ROVs.
Right.
All right, how
This
far through that move are we now? Actually, looks like we just finished up.
real challenge for the ROV pilot and navigator to enable us to get into a position so we can go forward.
So we're seeing
All right, Jeff, I think the ship has stopped.
lots
If
of boulders
you
now.
want to try to make your way up,
I think
and
what's
get out ahead again, I'll call in another
I think
move.
white
the-
for-
sponge now that we're seeing.
No,
Is
not
that
yet.
a sponge?
I
once
don't
you're
know, but I
uphill,
think
yeah.
so.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm
Maybe it
alternating
has
forward,
a
Shaggy surface.
yeah,
And-
rough surface, right?
up.
And these
Like,
rocks
that's
look like they're
100% up
encrusted
right
with
there.
those
Yeah.
what were they called?
Hydroids?
Hydroids? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
There we go.
The
And we're
volcanoclastic
we're getting to
rocks.
the top of
Yes.
this feature, so it might just get
Okay.
worse here.
All right, so if I get blown away, it's a right turn.
3 fish or something.
Wow.
black in the rock there.
Okay, now we're seeing a lot more. Oh, there's a fish
Yeah, there's a fish.
hiding from the current under a rock.
Okay.
That's a smart fish.
We doing okay on? what did
There
I
are
say
two
before?
fish. There's a red fish
We're at
above the
45
yellow
amps.
fish.
45 amps high.
No, it wasn't blue. It was
I know.
yellow. And then there's a rock sticking up.
So, pilot, when you get in a
4
happy
fish on the
place, if you can zoom in on one of those white shaggy sponges. But when you get ready,
White shaggy sponge.
well, over to the
Far left.
there's one actually at about 5 o'clock position on the video screen right now.
Okay. I will attempt.
Okay, Shirley, there's also a red thing that looks like it's encrusting all over the same rock, and a brighter red thing just above it. There is a rock with horizontal striations,
Okay, Dan,
horizontal
Oh, yeah, I can see
grooves
that.
in the surface
it.
of it, and that indicates
Rolly, all yours.
the top or glassy
Tilting
layer
up.
of a pillow lava of some sort, or at least a lava that has
You're looking at the
erupted
sponge. Or,
through a jagged surface that scraped its
tilting up.
scraped its
Holding.
surface as it came out.
And Pilot, those are actually two sponges. So there's that one, and it's actually encrusting on the thing that's to the right. And also we're seeing, yep.
And we're seeing
Yeah,
a little hermit
crab.
crab in one of those cone
heck?
shells that we saw earlier.
What the heck is that sponge?
This is something different from what you've seen before,
Well,
Shirley?
yeah.
Wow.
It kind of reminds me of a sponge that we see in the Atlantic and Caribbean called Spongoceroides, but it has these vermeted gastropods that are inside it, and they're kind of make tubes, so that the tubes are the result of these vermeted gastropods and not from the sponge. And I don't know if that's what this is. Yes, Chris asked if we needed a biologic collection. Well,
Could do.
I'm going to wait on this because we only have one more. And you may want to collect something else in shallower water.
I fear if you attempted to collect in this section, whatever you grabbed would blow out of a vehicle's hands.
You mean right now? Maybe.
Okay. No, it's, I can't,
Video's clear?
yeah, I'm not comfortable with how well I'm wedged into the, and as soon as something slips, everything will change very quickly.
Yeah, so these are two different demo sponges. I'm thinking that the one on the left is, it could be a lithistid sponge. I mean, they're both demo sponges, very different from each other. The one on the left looks like it might be a lithistid. The one on the right, not sure, but it looks a heck of a lot like the Spongoceroides species that we see in the Atlantic.
You guys have any interest in this fish on the right edge of the screen? Orange, reddish fish.
What do you think, Jeff?
Shirley, could you
it's
punch
time to
that
pick up
name
the
Yep.
in?
I will.
that log?
Yep, I sure will.
I think I'm going to spell it right. Thank you.
Watchley Pilot, as soon as you're done, we'd like to pick up and move along.
We're done.
Okay, full wide video. Okay, Dan.
All right.
Up. Is that what I need, up and forward?
Up and forward. I'm facing just about 220, which we might adjust once you get up ahead, but yeah, if you can move up and forward and try to saddle to port if you can.
Yeah, whatever that sponge is, it's pretty common. The one that looks like it might have like worm tubes in it seems pretty common.
I think, oh boy, I think you ought to saddle to the left of that.
Could we look at that yellow coral that's to the center
Rock
right?
there,
Right
Yep,
now?
yep. Pilot, when you feel
If you look at
comfortable, if we
high
could
pack,
take a look
I
at
think
that
the high
yellow
will be to
fan.
our port. So you
Alright.
want to come on the other side of that rock feature.
All right, I'm going to turn into it.
Yep.
Watch lead, I heard the request. I can't get there. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so generally where you're facing now.
Yep. Yep.
Boy, 90% axials and verts.
Yeah, sorry, Chris, about getting a close-up on that coral. Just couldn't get into position, being dragged off.
Yeah, no problem. I understand.
Yep. Thanks, Roland. We're aware of that. It's pretty crazy here.
He's relaying it back to
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
The contorted nature of the rocks right in the bottom of the screen there, this looks like fairly thin lava flows that are kind of shelly. It's interesting that there's such an incredible diversity of types of lava that we have seen along this ridge.
And with each one of those transitions to a different, bottom type, we're seeing different biological communities as well.
Right. Yeah, maybe some of it is dependent on depth, but
all right, I'm going to get a ship move ready.
Not much, because we're not changing a whole lot of depth.
No, it's not that.
Dive. It's really the
more
terrain.
like the substrate type.
It might be a little local high. We're kind of at top of this flatter feature here.
So science, this is video just pointing out to those shoreside to sort of understand the thrust issue. If you look at the quad split on the upper right quadrant, you'll see the ROV on the lower left of that quadrant. And the blue is the indication of the thrust percentage that's currently being
20 meters
exerted on the thrusters.
210.
See that
just kind of bring
the
me
forward
closer to
and
where
the
you are
axial
now, and then we
thrusters
can look
are
off in that direction.
typically running near
really is,
90 to 100%.
where we want to go. So Nav,
you can see that on that graphic.
let's call in 20 meters, 20 meters, bearing 210 at 0.2 knots.
Thanks, Roland.
Rolly, I'm going to sit here till Sirius catches up.
Copy, thank you.
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
There's a crinoid. What the heck is it on?
It's a green crinoid.
What's it on?
That's a good question.
It looks like it might be on an anemone.
Yeah.
But that's...
Do crinoids
that
eat?
stalk also looks a lot like... Do they eat?
Yeah.
It also,
do they eat anemones?
I don't think. It also looks like that stalk of the stalk barnacle.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. Yep. It sure do.
Any chance we could look at that yellow gorgonian that was
yeah.
There's a backward.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh. Looks, Chris,
Coming
you can see the current sweeping the debris away. Pilot, we had a request to look at that yellow coral that was just near the position we were at a minute ago. I don't know if you can get back there.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I probably can.
And there's a black coral.